Hi girls. So today we want to learn something major today. It's sketching parabolas using factorization. Alright, so we're going to go through all these steps using the following questions that you see on the board. So let's go through it. So when you get an equation like this, right, you have to factorize it in order to find the x-intercepts. So I like to use cross method to factorize it, but whichever method you're comfortable using, do it. But in this case, as you can see, x times x is x squared, and minus 4 and minus 2 are the numbers that you want to use because minus 4 times minus 2 gives you plus 8, and at the same time minus 4 minus 2 gives you minus 6, which is the number in the middle. So that's how you use cross method if you're not too familiar with it. Alright, so in order to factorize it, you just have to write it across. So the answer is x minus 4, x minus 2. So we've done step number 1, we've factorized it. And then step number 2, this is where you get your x-intercept. So from here, you just have to take the opposite value of what's inside the bracket. So the opposite of minus 4 is plus 4. So that's my first x-intercept. And the opposite of minus 2 is plus 2. Okay, so those are my two x-intercepts. All right. Once you've got the x-intercepts, the y-intercept is just simply the number without any letter. It's just plus 8. Okay, so let me just label it here. X-intercept, y-intercept. All right. Now we're ready to sketch the graph, so let's sketch it out. Alright, so let's label these points 2 and 4 on the x-axis. So let's say 2 is there and 4 is there, and it goes through 8, positive 8 on the y-axis. So let's say 8 is there. And because, another thing, if it's just x squared, which means positive x squared, the graph is going to always go up like we've learned before. So let's join that graph using the 3 points over here. That's it, there's your graph, okay? So we've basically done up to here, which is like your main part. Now to go in more detail, if the question asks you to find these two extra things, you have to find it. Remember, the axis of symmetry is the line that cuts the graph in half. And the easiest way to find it is basically, it's just the midpoint between 2 and 4. What's the number between 2 and 4? It's 3. So that's your axis of symmetry, x equals to 3, all right? This is also a formula that will help you get that number 3 by using a formula in case the numbers are complicated. So the way you use it is, I'll just quickly show you here. You always start with a minus. The b number is a number in front of x, which in this case is minus 6. So that's your b. So I'm going to write minus 6. And then 2a means 2 times the number in front of x squared is a. So 2 times 1 is 2. And as you can see, minus 6 over 2 is positive 3, which is the number that I got. Okay. You don't have to use that all the time. Obviously, it's a lot easier if you have the graph, but you do also need to use that formula, okay, or know that formula. And last thing, vertex is the turning point. So that's the coordinate of that peak. Now, we know that coordinate starts with a 3 because the axis of symmetry always has the same coordinate as the vertex. But we also got to find out what the y value is at that point. So in order to find the y-coordinate, sub x equals to 3 into the original. So back in here. So in this case, it will be 3 squared minus 6 times 3 minus 6 times 3 plus 8. If you put all of this in the calculator, that's minus 1. So that's my vertex coordinate. All right. So this is your parabola with all the details possible. Okay. But the main details that you do need to know in order to sketch a parabola is the x-intercepts and the y-intercept, okay? These two are just extra information, but you do need to know how to label them as well in the exam because they will ask you. Okay, so make sure you do practice it for this exercise. Let's do the same thing there. All right, so let's factorize that. So two numbers that multiply to give minus 16. Let's think about it. It's trial and error, basically. Minus 8 and 2 will work because minus 8 times 2 is minus 16. But at the same time, minus 8 plus 2 is minus 6. Okay, so those are your numbers, minus 8 and 2. So let's write them across. So we've got x minus 8, x plus 2. Okay, so what you're doing when you're factorizing it and to find the x-intercept, you're making it equal to 0. The reason why you take you know how I said if you got minus 4 in the bracket, you take the opposite, which is plus 4. The reason for that is what you're doing is actually looking at one bracket at a time. You're solving x minus 8 is equal to 0. So if you bring the minus 8 to the other side, what is it? It's plus 8, right? So that's why you basically take the opposite sign of what's inside the bracket to find the x-intercept, okay? Same thing here, opposite of plus 2 is minus 2, so those are your x-intercepts. Now the y-intercept is simple, it's just a number without any letter, minus 16, all right? And then, yeah, I'll just do a quick sketch here. Minus 2 here, 8 there, and it goes to minus 16. Let's just say it's all the way down here. And it has to be concave up once again because it's a positive x squared. There's no minus in front. So it's just gonna roughly look like this. Okay. Once again, if you wanted to find the vertex in the axis of symmetry, I'll let you guys try that out. But like I said, it's just a number between minus 2 and 8. Actually, I'll do it. You can use the formula, but it's easier to look at the graph. So the axis of symmetry, all you need to do if you want to find the midpoint of those two is just add them and then divide them by 2, okay? Just like how we would find the midpoint, okay? So it's 3 there. And then once again, if you want to find the y-coordinate of the vertex when it's equal to 3, sub it back into the original. So I'll just quickly do it. So 3 squared minus 6 times 3. I feel like this is like the same question almost, but it's not. Okay, if you put all that in the calculator, you're going to get minus 25. All right, so that's your vertex. Okay. All right, from now on, I'm just going to teach you girls how to do the questions now that you should know how to graph it. Okay, so when it comes to a question like this, you always want to factorize it, but we're not going to use a cross method here because this is just simplest, just factorizing x out like this, okay? So to find the x-intercept, okay, if you've got just 2 terms, just factorize it normally like you would. And then from here, what you do is take one at a time. What does x equal to here? What do you see? X equals to 0, right? So that is your first x-intercept, x equals to 0. And here, opposite of minus 5 is plus 5. And the y-intercept, is there a number without x? There's technically not. This is actually technically plus 0. So the y-intercept is actually just 0. If there's no number, it's 0. Okay, so that's the main technique I want to show you girls. So, all right, I'll just do a quick sketch for you girls and then you girls can find the axis of symmetry and the vertex. So 0 and 5. So 0, 5, and it goes through 0, which is there as well, and it's concave up. This is all it is for that graph, okay? All right, let's continue with some more different types of equations. I won't go through the graphing, I'll just show you how to start it off. Once again, it's got 3 terms here, so I'm going to factorize using cross method. So 2 numbers that multiply to give 4 at the same time adds to give 4. It's actually 2 and 2 because 2 times 2 is 4. At the same time, 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so notice how though this time we've got 2 of the same numbers. Now this is positive 2, so you're going to write positive 2, positive 2. If you have 2 of the same brackets, make it equal to squared. And what you'll notice, remember, to find the x-intercept, you make it equal to 0. The reason why you make it equal to 0 is because you're substituting y equals to 0 here, okay? So from here, you'll notice opposite of plus is minus 2. You'll notice you'll only have one x-intercept, and that's fine. So what that looks like I'm going to end up drawing all the graphs for you. Minus 2, that's there. And the y-intercept is just a number without x. That's 4. Let's just say it's there. And it's concave up. The graph looks like this in this case. Okay? So as you can see, it only has one x-intercept. Okay? Not 2. So, and that's fine. Let's do that one. Now with this one, when you have 2 squares, okay, you want to use this formula. I don't know if you remember. Difference of 2 squares. If you want to factorize it, it's this. So that's the same situation that you have there. So if you want to factorize x squared minus 9, it's basically x minus 3, x plus 3. Because remember, if you square root of 9 is 3, so you're just writing the square root of the number inside the brackets, okay? That's what this rule means. So you can see from here, x is equal to opposite of minus 3, which is 3, and opposite of plus 3 is minus 3, okay? And that's the y-intercept, so on, okay? It's the same thing. Now with this one though, as you can see, it's still the same format, okay? But if you square root that, it's not a whole number, and that's fine. What they want you to do to find the x-intercept, make it equal to 0, is write it like this then. Okay, square root of that. Okay, and then from here, x is equal to opposite of minus root 11 is positive root 11. Here, x is equal to minus root 11. And then put it in the calculator what those actual values are, because you need to plot it on the number plane. So to one decimal place, that's 3.3, and this is negative 3.3. Okay, and that's fine. Plot those points out on the number plane, okay? With the y-intercept, which is minus 11. All right? 11c, it says find the equation of the graphs, and as you can see, it goes through minus 2 and 6. So if they want you to get the equation from the graph. So all we need to do, start off by writing x in two brackets. Now, if it goes through minus 2, if we want to put it back into the bracket, you write the opposite, which is plus 2. That's all it is. How about the other one? If it goes through 6, that means back in the bracket, it goes through minus 6. So you're just putting the opposite signs, okay? And then once you've written them down, you just now got to expand and simplify that. All right, so I'll just quickly do that for you. So that's x squared minus 6x plus 2x minus 12. This is x squared minus 4x minus 12. So that's all they wanted you to write, okay? Do the same thing for 11a and b. Now the last question I wanted to show you girls is similar to the similar questions that I've done with the rest, but this time we have a minus in front of the x squared. So if you do get that kind of question, the first thing you got to do is, as usual, factorize it, all right? So I'm going to make it equal to 0 because we're trying to find x-intercept here. If you take away negative out, all right, inside the bracket you've just got x squared, but instead of plus a, you're going to write minus 8x because you've just taken minus out. So it's all the signs become opposite signs. Instead of plus 9, it becomes minus 9. Okay, so this is how you want to start it off. And then from here, factorize what's inside. Okay, once again, I'm going to use cross method. Two numbers that multiply to give minus 9 at the same time gives you minus 8. When you add them up is minus 9 and positive 1. Because minus 9 times 1 is minus 9. At the same time, minus 9 plus 1 is minus 8. So those are my answers. So what you want to write now is these together across. Okay. Now remember, you don't just write like that. Okay. Technically there is a minus still in front. Okay. Don't forget the minus. I just almost did. Okay. Now from here, as usual, take the opposite sign. X is equal to 9 here. X is equal to minus 1 here. And the y-intercept is that number. So I'll just quickly show you what this graph looks like because this one's different to the rest. So minus 1 is here, let's say. 9 is here. 9 on top on the y-axis. And because it's a negative, it's not going to go concave up. It's going to go concave down. And as you can see, that is the only possible graph you can link in this question. So that's your graph, okay? All you need to do now is also find the axis of symmetry and the vertex, okay? I don't know if the question specifies you to. You know what, get into the habit of drawing everything, okay? Because it's just a good habit for your exam. All right, girls, that should be enough to get you through the rest of the exercise. Give the rest of the questions a go. I wrote the questions up on the board that you need to do, okay? And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.